As the Avengers Doomsday and Secret War scripts get finalized in these next couple of weeks and Avengers Doomsday starts filming, we're going to start to learn more and more about what the overall plot is going to be for both Doomsday and Secret Wars, because the plot for each film is going to be very different. Based on the new leaks that have come out, we know Battleworld is coming. It looks like God Emperor Doom is going to rule Battleworld, but the question is, what leads Doom to becoming God Emperor Doom, ruling Battleworld? What happens in Avengers Doomsday to get him into that position? Well, thanks to some new information revealed, we have a lot of info on what Marvel Studios' plans are for Doom to rise to power, and this plan actually incorporates the story of Kang, the TVA, and Loki all together in a way that does make a lot of sense. So let's dive into what we've recently learned. And if you want to stay up to date with all the recent Marvel scoops, be sure to subscribe. We talk Marvel news, leaks, and rumors every single day. This new information is coming to us from very reliable insider Alex Perez at thecosmiccircus.com, who recently answered a lot of questions about what he heard Avengers Doomsday is going to be about. And we're finally hearing how Loki is going to be involved, because the ending of Loki season 2, Marvel can't just ignore. Right now, Loki is essentially holding the multiverse together. And based off of what Alex Perez says, it looks like Doom knows that. And Doom is actually pissed at Kang and the TVA. There's several plot points that Alex talks about, including the new Avengers team, Doom's Avengers team, and more. But the first thing we're going to mention is what Alex says about Loki's role in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Alex says that Loki is going to be our MacGuffin. The race against Doomsday will be a race to see who gets to Loki first. And I think what he's implying here is that there are going to be two sides, Doom and his team, and then everybody else who is good and against Doom. That'll be multiple teams, because we're going to have multiple hero teams like we did in Avengers Infinity War. We'll have the new Avengers, we'll have the Thunderbolts, probably the Young Avengers, maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy. Alex did mention that there are going to be some X-Men there as well. So really it's going to be kind of all of the good guys versus Doom and his team, who aren't necessarily evil, as Alex mentions in this, but we'll talk about that in a bit. We do know that the threat of the multiverse being destroyed and our specific universe being destroyed is at hand. And since Loki is kind of holding the multiverse together right now, it looks like Loki might be the key to possibly saving it all. And that's actually what Dr. Doom wants to do, but the way he wants to go about saving the multiverse is very different than the way our heroes would go about it. And this is what Alex Perez has to say about Loki, Doom, and Kang. When asked about Doom's plans and motives, Alex Perez said this: Doom wants to stop the incursions from happening and stop the multiverse from entirely collapsing on itself. In a way, he's technically a hero in his eyes and the eyes of his followers. Kind of like how Thanos saw himself as the hero in Infinity War. I think people will have a better time processing this movie if they stop thinking of Doom as the ultimate villain meant to swap out Kang at the last minute, and more as the antagonist who thinks he is the hero and is pissed at He Who Remains for essentially silencing his universe as well as every other universe/timeline that didn't correspond to the sacred timeline, and wants nothing more than to take the reins of his timeline and win his freedom. This makes a ton of sense, especially if you consider what He Who Remains said to Loki and Sylvie in Loki Season 1. He Who Remains said that he isolated our timeline, managed the flow of time, and prevented any other branches from happening. And he specifically said that he himself ended the multiversal war using the power of Alioth. But by isolating our universe, that took away free will, and that is something that Doom would definitely be upset about. And the way Alex words this when he says that Dr. Doom is pissed at He Who Remains for essentially silencing his universe as well as every other universe and timeline that didn't correspond to the sacred timeline, makes it sound that perhaps Doom existed on a branch timeline and the TVA came to destroy his universe, but he somehow escaped. In fact, maybe that's part of the origin story for Doom in the MCU. Maybe the TVA went to destroy his timeline and prune it, but him, being a powerful sorcerer, stopped them from doing so. He then took control of their technology and essentially gained the powers of He Who Remains to an extent. Either way, we know that Doom is pissed at He Who Remains, is pissed at the TVA, and is heading for Loki. That's essentially his plan, to overthrow the TVA and to overthrow Loki so Doom can be in charge of everything and he can save the entire multiverse. And since Loki is allowing the multiverse to exist now, perhaps that is why all of the incursions are happening. And perhaps Doom knows that in order to save one universe, you have to destroy the other that's about to collide with it. Or perhaps Doom simply knows that there can only be one universe, otherwise incursions are always going to happen. And they can't exactly save the entire multiverse, so it's better to save one than lose them all. Because that's what Doom ultimately decides in the 2015 Secret Wars comics. But you could see how Loki, the TVA, and the good Avengers would probably have some qualms about this and think, no, we have to try to save everything. Loki is clearly going to be the key here. The Avengers rush to save Loki, especially if Thor is going to be a part of the new Avengers team, which I'm sure he's going to be. And Doom and his team rush to probably just take over the throne, essentially. Which honestly sounds really cool, and I really want Loki to get back into the overall story of the multiverse saga, so this works for me. It also creates a lot of conflict between Doctor Doom, his team, and all of our heroes, because it sounds like ultimately what Doctor Doom is trying to do is save everybody, which our heroes will ultimately want to do as well, so there's going to be a common ground there at first. I'm imagining things go kind of south though, and the incursions kind of get out of hand, and they're running out of time, and perhaps that's when Doom decides, screw it, I'm going right for the source, I'm going to take over Loki's throne, and I'll rule the multiverse how I deem fit, and unfortunately that means some universes are going to have to be destroyed, which the Avengers won't be okay with. Which should lead to a really cool fight between the Avengers and Doctor Doom's team. And based off of what we've heard, his team is going to have a Captain America variant, perhaps Captain Hydra, a Black Widow variant, and some other awesome variants as well. However, the next thing Alex Perez says is that they are not necessarily evil. When asked if we can expect to see some heroes delve into morally ambiguous territory when it comes to dealing with incursions and they become desperate, Alex said, yes, 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 and yes. You can expect to see that, especially the ones that side with Doom. To them, Doom is their savior. Which makes sense because in the comics, the heroes also get divided on how to go about saving their universe. Some say destroy the other one so it doesn't kill us, it's us or them, but some, like Captain America you'd imagine, say no, we have to save both of them. And when it specifically comes to Doom's team, people were asking Alex about the evil variants that are going to be alongside Doctor Doom, and Alex replied with, who said they had to be evil? They could be misguided variants who are led astray by the promise of their world and universe being saved from the end of the multiverse by Doom. Which does make a lot of sense. In the comics, Doom does have the Black Swans. They are his group of people who help him with his cause in trying to save the multiverse. Some of them do go astray, but for the most part, they are trying to save the multiverse. So people joining Doom are most likely trying to save their own worlds. And that's why they could view Doom as a savior. It makes perfect sense. Alex does also reconfirm that there's going to be the matter of heroes we know going up against other heroes and villains from other universes, which is something that I definitely want to see, so I'm glad they are including that in there. At this point, I am kind of assuming that the X-Men will fight our Avengers when the incursions start to happen. Eventually, of course, they'll fight together, but maybe they'll fight each other at first. That's what I'm hoping. But when it comes to our new Avengers team, Alex Perez does say that the new Avengers won't be formed at 100% until Avengers Secret Wars. They're disbanded into many different groups, which won't come together until said movie. It's while they'll lose in Avengers Doomsday, which I think a lot of us predicted already, because we can't get to Battleworld if the Avengers are going to win. Getting God Emperor Doom and Battleworld means that Doom won, so it makes sense that he would beat the Avengers. But as far as who the main characters are going to be for Doomsday, Alex said, Doom is at the top of that list. The Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Wong, and Bruce Banner are also on that list, along with a handful of mutants that I can't mention just yet. This list is basically the smartest people in the MCU combined with the leaders of the Avengers, and if you think about it, the MCU has already established Captain Marvel, Wong, and Bruce Banner as the leaders of the MCU. We saw them come together, granted two of them via hologram, but we saw them come together in the post-credit scene for Shang-Chi. They're kind of the ones that are kind of keeping tabs of everything. Then of course you have Doctor Strange, who's going to gain vast knowledge of what is happening in the multiverse due to everything that he's doing with Clea. Reed Richards, who is also going to have multiversal knowledge and is the smartest man alive, and will hopefully know about Doctor Doom. Hopefully they do introduce Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously Captain America as the new leader of the Avengers, and Spider-Man, because of course you gotta have your main character. But Spider-Man has of course also dealt with the multiverse in No Way Home. So overall, this movie is shaping up to be kind of what we hoped it to be, at least me personally, and I think it sounds amazing. I'm really loving this story if this is what they decide to go with, but go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you like it or not? Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news, rumors, or leaks. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.